What's happening? Welcome to season 2 of Mad That. I'm Carl Riegler.
And I'm Harry Robinson. If you like what we do here, make sure to like, make sure to subscribe, comment, tell your nan.
Tell your nan's mates, tell your nan's mates. Tell the world that Mad That are trying to change the world.
Go to the retirement home and scream about Mad That.
Yeah, we need you to help us. We saw the love you gave us on Series 1. Literally, it blew us away. The likes, the comments, the shares. People coming up and saying they love it. It means the world to us. So that's gone. Do you know what? We're going to make season 2 even better. So if we do that again, we'll make season 3 even better than that. And we'll keep growing until this podcast reaches the moon. Because we love making it so much. We just need to know that you love watching it. And we promise we'll make it bigger and better.
Yeah. So let us know who you want in the comments. You know, let us know like where you want us to take, what kind of topics you want us to cover.
Yeah.
Let's jump into the episode. We're going to start with the intro, which was filmed at the end of the episode. So you've got our raw kind of reaction. That's how we do it here.
Yeah.
And enjoy.
Let's go.
Reporting live from the front line. This is the Mad Dat.
I'm Joe Exotic, and welcome to the Mad Dat Podcast.
Hello. Welcome to Mad Dat Season 2. That was a lot. I'm excited for this one.
Yeah,
This
is Christmas Day for you.
This is...
And you.
This is the Sandman, also known as Hardcore Hack, also known as James or Jim Fullington, who is a hardcore icon of a wrestler who wrestled in ECW throughout the 90s and then was in the WWE in the 2000s, was in WCW. If you're into wrestling, you're going to feast a lot on this. And if you're not into wrestling, we've made it as accessible as possible
100%.
and given so much context because this isn't just, let's listen to loads about wrestling.
This is the life of a wrestler.
Yeah.
Which is interesting because it's an entertainer. It's not just a sports person. So, yeah, if you're not into wrestling, you'll still know some of the names because they're the most famous names who've ever lived. And it's fascinating.
And if you go through and you go, I didn't really get those names. When we do the outro, I gave lots of context.
We have a little index, don't we, at the end?
Yeah, little index for like, what do those terms mean? I mean, the term bump gets used a lot, which is like taking a move.
Bump's just a move, innit? Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's like taking a hit.
Yeah, like
yeah. Botch, if you mess up a move.
Yeah.
You'll hear kind of words like that, but I mean, I'm going to call him Sandman. He goes, we call him Hack throughout this. That's how he kind of goes.
He's still the Sandman.
Sandman. He, it was just such a fantastic and interesting person to speak to because it's this weird level of hardcore icon that's now a granddad.
Yeah.
But he still has that kind of...
granddad.
Yeah, he has that edge about him.
Like my granddad's the Sandman, his grandkids must say, because it's just...
And it's such a funny thing of like, we tell like that people we're close to or whatever who we've got on for the
This
season.
is your flex, isn't it?
Yeah, well, this is the one where like you tell people, and if they're not interested, they go, "Oh, okay." And then we told Sean Walsh, and he lost his mind.
Yeah, and then he shit his pants.
So but it's a fascinating kind of insight into the mind of someone who loved violence growing up and talks about his kind of upbringing and how he was molded, I guess, into the man that he was. Because it's really interesting how his wrestling persona is just him.
Yeah, how he took the energy of a teen who was clearly, loved violence, loved physicality, loved, had energy, and he channeled it into something that made him a superstar. We also talk about the Chris Benoit situation and what happened there because he was friends with Nancy. He spoke about his personal life, his life as a wrestler on the road, the people he knows. It's just a fascinating insight into the life of a wrestler and a wrestler at the top of the game.
There was I think was it the Neil Woods one from season 1, which felt, I think we described it as like a campfire thing a little bit, where lot of mad wrestling stories in here that it's just like,
but real shit. Like he's not making this shit up. He's lived a life.
Yeah, and that he just says pretty nonchalantly as well. But then also at the same, like he has these mad stories, but then he's also 5-time like world ECW champion. He's got all these credentials. He made it to the peak of wrestling. I mean, of extreme wrestling. Like he was the face of the company in ECW, which was known as one of the big 3 at the time in the 90s, and has this mythologue about him now, where you look back through the archives and it's like, he's had entrances where he used, like for context, he used to come to the ring with his Singapore cane, which was like a pool cue. And he used to come through the crowd, drink a beer, and then smash the beer can over his head until he bled.
Before the fight.
And sometimes he'd do multiple beer cans.
Yeah, and then he just motorboat women.
Yeah, he did that as well. I might include like a little...
He just motorboat women
might
on
just
the
be
way to
here,
the ring.
yeah.
And now we're speaking to him, and he's
the same guy.
He's the same guy.
But just a bit older.
Yeah. And he also, keep your eyes peeled and your ears peeled, he makes Harry a promise.
That we're
Harry a promise.
That we're holding him to. Absolutely.
Yeah. So enjoy this. This is season 2, Mad Dad. The Sandman.
I hope you're as excited as I've been all day.
Hi, boys. I'm ready.
Hi.
Belter, can you hear us all right?
Yeah, man.
Wonderful.
Thank you so much for joining us. So I'm Harry. This is Carl.
I'm Carl. Nice to meet you.
Do you prefer to be called Sandman or Hack or James or Hack?
Hack.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for taking time out your day. Because I appreciate you're probably busy and get media requests like this a lot.
Yeah, I'm real busy.
What we like to start off with normally, obviously we've got you on for your kind of illustrious wrestling career and you go by many names. What we want you to answer, I guess, is who is the Sandman or who is Hack?
Oh, did you just ask that question?
Yeah.
We know who you are. But like for the listener, let's flesh it out a little bit
in your words as well. We're trying to get deeper. You know, we're not just trying to like. We've not got you on as a random fella.
Yeah.
The Sandman's kind of me, dude. That's who I was. I used to. You have no idea how many times I was arrested from the time I was like 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, at least, I don't know, so many times from barroom brawls and stuff like that. So it wasn't really a forced stretch. The Sandman in the ring, it was me in my younger youth, like in those years when you feel like you're invincible, 18, 19, 20, dude. And dude, a lot of barroom brawls, a lot of rugby fights, a lot of ball games, and a lot of brawling.
Big rugby player, yeah.
Oh, dude, love rugby. Freaking love it. Our high school had it wasn't like a sanctioned like a football or basketball or something like that. It had to be a club. So we were just a rugby club, and mostly we played because no other high schools around us had teams. So we ended up playing college teams that had rugby teams. And then after the team went to we lost to the New Zealand All Blacks 72-0 in England back in 1980. Yeah, 72-0.
So cool.
Because the two teachers that started the rugby club, they knew it's like, this isn't like a United States sport. So if you're going to if you want to really know about this sport, then you're going to go to Europe and play a real team. And then actually, I ended up dressing in the All Blacks locker room. We went to New Zealand, me, Sabu, and Van Dam. I remember us getting high in their locker room. Their stadium was so cool. It was like built into the side of a mountain, and it was like marble steps. Like they were like 4 foot high, 4 foot deep, 4 foot high, 4 foot deep. And they raced those little cars. There was a racetrack around the field of the thing. So, but it was just great being there, just and just seeing the little plaques on the wall of all the great players that team has had. That was great.
That's fucking sick.
Were you a good rugby player?
Yeah, I was second row. Yeah, I was second row. Dude, I actually didn't know how to even keep score my first year or so because it was just different. And I didn't really care because, I'm in the scrum, I'm a second row. Every once in a while I played lock or eight, I would play like 8-man. But a lot of times it's just like mucking, like you're mucking in a scrum and you're not really involved in the scoring. And I didn't really care about the scoring. I like the physicality of the game a lot. You know what I'm saying? And it wasn't like, all right, wait, let's have first down, let's have second down, let's have third down. It was just the flow of the game was really what I liked about it a lot.
So that physical energy, that violent energy, was that just a way of using it and not fighting in bars? It was to get it on the field?
Well, no, we were still doing it, dude. Oh, my God. So many rugby fights we were in. I mean, because, the deal was that you used to have like 10 kegs after every game. Like when we went to a college or they went to our place, you had a bar that everybody went to afterwards, your team, their team. A lot of teams, they had full A and B squads, you know what I mean? So you're talking like 100 guys, drinking 10 kegs. There's going to be fights after games, and that's just the way it is. Oh, we used to steal their taps to their kegs and stuff. Oh, we were armed.
That's so amazing.
Yeah, they call us the bad boys. We're the Marple bad boys.
Did any of your rugby friends get into the same world as you, or did they just get regular 9-to-5 jobs?
No, yeah, they're just regular people. But they all knew, even back then, they were all telling me, dude, you got to be a pro wrestler. You got to be a pro wrestler. Because it was only me and my buddy Ruben. He played rugby with me. There was only two of us that were ever into rugby. And me and him used to go every single solitary month to the Philadelphia Spectrum. Because, the WWF came there every month. Because back then we might have been the fourth largest city in the United States. So, but we were lucky to have the WWF every month, and me and him were the only ones on the team that were into it. But they all knew that I loved it, and they all thought I would be a great wrestler.
I guess take us back a little bit. So you talked about being arrested a couple of times. What was young James Fullington like? What was life like for you growing up?
Oh, dude, not much money in my family. We didn't have family vacations. My mom was single up until I was like maybe 5 or 6, 4 kids. My mom was she was a butcher. Women weren't butchers in late 1960s, dude. But my mom had to make money. She had 4 kids, you know what I mean? And butchers made the most money. If you weren't a doctor or somebody like that, the butchers made the most money in towns back then. So yeah, so my mom was a butcher, dude. I grew up getting beat up a lot. She had 4 kids all within like 6 years, you know what I mean? So your older siblings are just beating you up every day. You know what I mean? It was like they were called latchkey kids then, where there was nobody at home when you got home, you know what I mean? So it was a free for all after school every day till mom got home from school till mom got home from work, you know what I mean? So I got beat up a lot by the two closest to me, Oliver and Beechers. Yeah, they beat me up pretty good. Joe. So no, I mean, I didn't get abused when I was a kid I wasn't abused or anything. You know what I mean? I just grew up poor.
Yeah, exactly.
Of course, yeah.
Is that because you mentioned about getting kind of arrested a couple of times? Is that what led you to maybe troublemaker a little bit?
I spent a couple of years of my life in jail.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah, a couple of years. I assaulted a guard. I did 6 months in the hole from I think it was 1983, from like January 23rd, like the day after the Super Bowl, to July 7th. 6 months in the hole, dude, for punching a guard in the face.
Wow.
Yeah, dude, I was a nut back then when I was younger. I mean, a straight nut. I just was.
How do you get through 6 months solitary? Where does your mind go? How do you?
Dude. You got a guy. I've seen a guy kill himself, hang himself right in the cell across from me. The cells weren't like directly lined up; like they were like 12 feet away, and offset a little bit. But I watched that guy hang himself. I watched another guy cut his throat right there. Yeah, dude. There's nothing to do. You don't have no light, no motor, not a single luxury. That's from Gilligan's Island. You guys found. You guys ever even heard of Gilligan's Island?
No.
It's an old TV show from the 60s.
So was that a young age? So you saw those things at a young age?
Oh yeah, dude. Well, yeah, I was pretty much done. Yeah. All that was before my 21st birthday.
Wow.
I spent my 21st birthday in the hole in jail. That was my 21st birthday.
Did you get a cake?
Did you have a beer?
Nah,
Does
nothing. The
that
guy gave me a
change you?
non-filter. The guy gave me a non-filter cigarette for. I don't even know how the guy knew it was my birthday. Yeah, the guy gave me a non-filter cigarette. I never had a cigarette before in my life. I smoked that day, and then when I got out of prison, I started smoking non-filter Camel cigarettes. So that's what I was coming to the ring with. They're all non-filter cigarettes.
Wow. And it all stems from your time in prison.
Yeah, first, yeah,
Yeah.
my birthday in jail.
21st
My 21st birthday. And I started smoking. It's better now with vapes.
How much does that kind of change your psyche as a 21-year-old like lad in prison? Like seeing that kind of stuff sounds traumatic.
It's like you're against the world.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like you're alone out there and you're just fending on your own. And that's what I was doing.
At one point, did you go, "Oh, I'm gonna transition into wrestling, or try and train to be a wrestler"?
I don't know. It was so lucky. There was an independent show. It was called. This was the very start of ECW. This was called Tri-State Wrestling Alliance, and a guy named Joel Goodhart. He started. I didn't even know what an independent show was. The only wrestling I knew was from the magazines that I got. Like you guys must know who Bill Apter is, right? Bill Apter used to make these. The one was called The Wrestler, one was Inside Wrestling, another one was something All Star or something. When I used to see these magazines from I would see like Harley Race from like the NWA, and the Bockwinkel's from AWA, but I didn't know there was any like small like little small venues where there's like 150 people coming to shows. So they papered our car, or mine and Ruben's car there, and we got out. We're like, what's this show here? So it was a couple weeks later. So we go to the show, dude, and we pull up into the parking lot, and pulling up next to me, getting out of the car at the same time, is Bruno Sammartino.
Wow.
This couldn't happen in the big, literally 2 miles away at the Philadelphia Spectrum. That sits like 16,000 people. But at this other little venue, Bruno's getting out of his car right next to me out in the freaking parking lot. And I'm like losing my mind. I wasn't like yelling and screaming, but I was like, oh my God, that's freaking Bruno Sammartino, dude. So, I mean, and then I get in there and I realized that, because you got to understand, back in those days in the WWE, people were huge.
Yeah.
The AEW were our midgets compared to what was going on in the WWF. And back in some of them years, you know what I mean? Guys were just big. They were just big. Everybody was like at 300. I mean, you had your little like Sal Balomos and stuff like that. But, you got your Gorilla Monsoons, your Andre the Giant, your Big John Studs. Your Samoans, they were like 6'3", but they were like huge, weighing like 280, 290 a piece. Morocco was huge. So so then I sit in this independent show, and me and my buddy Ruben we're sitting there watching it, and I look at him like, dude, you could really do this. He goes, yeah, you definitely could do this. So the guy announces that he's starting a wrestling school during the show. The guy's like, he's an independent guy, and he's smart. He wants to start his own wrestling school so he can breed his own talent for his own company in Philadelphia. Because Philadelphia was like a hotbed, believe it or not. And then I joined this. Literally, I gave him like 3,500 or something like that. That next Monday, and then I started like March 6th. Trained 4 hours a night, 4 hours a week, and next I had my first match. I started March 6th, and I had my first match like June 9th. So I went from a fan to a pro wrestler in the ring in literally like 3 months. And next thing you know, in the next 3-4 months, I'm working with Jerry Lawler in main events in Memphis. Yeah, so it all happened like quick.
Do you remember your first match?
Oh, of course. Let me see if you guys know. His name was Ron Shaw. He was a big guy too. He was like 6'5", kind of like one of the Bruise brothers, like that, kind of like in that elk. And we were at Norristown Ford, which is, I don't know, maybe 15 miles from me right now. And yeah, he walked me through like a 5-minute match. I was so green, didn't know what I was doing. We would say, "Hey, come here, lock up, kid," and he's just like talking to me out there, like people in the first row can hear it. You know, it's like your first real match. You don't know what it's like until you're really out there. And like he's like talking, he's all relaxed and shit like that, and I'm like shitting bricks. But when I got through it,
did you win the first fight?
Oh, hell no. Dude, if I've had 1,000 matches, I've won maybe 50 of them. I always lose. Do you guys don't know that? Pick out one. The ones that I win is when the ones that I had to have the belt. And the only time the belt, the first time I got the belt, I beat Magnificent Morocco. You guys, this is another one, my first year in the business. By now, Todd Gordon, the other guy went under. Tri-State Wrestling went under, and now Todd Gordon has a hold of it, and he wants me to be his champion. So Morocco was his first champion, I think, and then he had me beat Morocco. So in like less than a year, dude, I'm going from a fan to beating Magnificent Morocco for a title. You know, so like shit was happening pretty quick.
Did you ever stop to take it in, or was it all a bit of a whirlwind?
No. Yeah, in the beginning, yes, but then once you start working you're working like 12 times a month, say, I don't know. It's that's a tough question. It's both at the same time.
Yeah. Do you ever look back as an older, more experienced man and think, I wish I'd taken in some of those experiences a bit more, like in the moment?
Now in life, yes. In wrestling, no, because dude, I was just a sponge in wrestling. Once I got back I went to 6 months in. I'm working with Jerry Lawler, dude. I had like 5 matches with Jerry Lawler, and I was a very, very confident dude when I got back to Philadelphia. That dude taught me more. Like he just taught you how to relax, dude. He taught you that freaking. That you could do this and you don't have to be pumped up to do it while you're doing it. Like, yeah, hey kid, we're just out here having fun. I mean, it's Jerry Lawler. That guy taught everybody think about how many guys went through or had to go through Memphis back in the day and work on top with Jerry Lawler. How many Hall of Famers? There's got to be like 50 of them that he had a big hand in teaching them.
Yeah. Wow. Is this at this point in your career, when does it start to become more hardcore? Obviously, you're the hardcore icon. When is that when you get to ECW that?
Yeah, it just happened out there in the ring. It wasn't Paul Lee. Todd never said, "Listen, I want you to go through a table. Listen, I want you to hit somebody in the head with a chair." We had carte blanche on what we wanted to do out in the ring. So the hardcore is like, I don't know, maybe some guys out at some point you get like, I don't know, it's kind of like AEW last night. Did you watch that?
No.
Did you watch that big double cage thing?
No.
When you watch it, watch the girls 45-minute disaster of a match. And they're trying to be hardcore in this thing, but they don't know how to be hardcore. I'd say hardcore is a style. You know what I mean? Just like a hard Japan match is, you know, or a stiff Japan match is. Yeah. It's a style, and not everybody works in this style. You know, so it's very hard. But they just Paul and Todd just let us do what we wanted to do. Nothing was out of bounds. Nothing.
Is it a state of mind to go to do a kind of hardcore match? Obviously, when you're coming to the ring and you're smashing beer cans off your head.
No, to me, it was much more fun to me. I didn't want to be a tackle, drop down, hip toss, arm drag kind of guy. That wasn't fun to me. I'm a barroom brawler. That's what I spent my formative years being. You know what I'm saying? I'm not a hip toss, arm drag kind of guy, dude. I'm a punch, kick, throw shit at you kind of guy.
Hell yeah.
That's more fun to me. I could do the other one because everybody has to start that way. You have to know all the chain work and all that stuff. You know what I mean? But that wasn't fun to me. Fun to me was freewheeling, rolling through the crowd, having a brawl. That's fun.
What do you think about the modern state of wrestling, the entertainment? Do you think it's...
The business is on a downhill right now. Basically 7 to 10 year cycles up and down. Look at TV numbers for both big companies. They're down, dude. I think the business is on that downslide right now, which will probably help the independents somewhat as that goes down, because there's still fans there. Maybe if you're disinterested in like in what's going on in either one of those companies, maybe you'll be more apt to go see regular stuff. So when the big business is down, usually the smaller business goes up, and I think we're in a downswing right now. I think we just got over that and we're just starting to go down now.
Yeah.
And it's going to be probably like 5 years unless something crazy happens.
I think I saw Dutch Mantel. Obviously, for like people who don't know.
Dutch, I love Dutch. I gotta tell me your story, then I'll tell you one.
Oh no, I just saw him talk about this idea of wrestling being in a kind of cycle of like you hit this big, exciting pinnacle from a storyline, and then after that, everyone's got almost exhaustion from putting in their effort to this long-term storyline, and then but what's your Dutch Mantel story?
He knows. Just okay. So Dutch was great. He was a booker. I spent a lot of. I used to go to Puerto Rico a lot. And Dutch was the book, and when Dutch was a booker down there, I'm in I'm pretty sure it was Bayamon Stadium, and I'm sitting in the locker room. The locker room's tiny, dude. I don't know how big the room is, but this locker room's maybe, including the showers and the stalls and the sinks, maybe like 20 feet by 20 feet. Not big at all. And I'm sitting down, and Dutch just, as a matter of fact, we're sitting there bullshitting. He's like, "Yeah, you know what's under your feet there?" I'm like, "No." He goes, "Yeah, that's where Brody died. Right there. Right where you're sitting. Brody died right where your feet were." And I'm like, "What?" And and that was the place where he got stabbed by Invader. And that's right where Brody died. And I was like, "Holy shit."
Nice.
Yeah, that's a good Dutch story. He was there. He was there in that locker room. So to me, it's not somebody just talking about the story. It's somebody that was sitting right about there while he was dying right there.
You wrestled alongside New Jack. There's the amount of stories about New Jack throwing people, like I can't remember who he threw off that scaffolding.
Grimes, dude. That thing was higher than you ever even think, dude. That thing was so high. I couldn't believe. Well, Grimes is a tough dude. You can't hurt that guy. Oh man, that was proven. Guy gets thrown off a 40-foot scaffold, bounces off he's almost missed the freaking ring.
Yeah, well, that would have killed him.
You guys know, if you watch that again, he almost missed the ring a couple more feet, and he probably would have died, I think. But he bounces off like the top rope, and dude, he's walking around like nothing happened. Freaking right after that.
What was New Jack like as a person? Because I mean, if for people who know,
I like Jack a lot. Jack was he could turn on you on a dime. And it's happened to me. He ended up I'm sitting there, I'm in the locker room. Who knows what I did to piss him off? But and obviously I'm drunk. I think we're in Boston. Jack's drunk. Who else is drunk in there? If Big Dick was there, he was probably sipping on a bottle too. But I don't know. Somehow I'm sitting there talking to Guido, and Jack threw a beer bottle right at me, right at my head. I went like that. It broke on this wrist or this wrist bone right there, shattered. Most of the bottle went on Guido. Well, I got up, I grabbed him, and then everybody grabbed all of us, but we were good right after that. I mean, dude, shit. When you're in a business like that, even if it's boxers, wrestlers, freaking sumo wrestlers, the shit's just going to happen in locker rooms. There's a lot of big personalities around each other. You know what I'm saying? And big personalities bring usually big problems.
Do you remember? Is there an argument in your mind that sticks out, like the biggest backstage fight you ever got into?
No, I haven't seen any. I've heard about them. You know what I'm saying? But no, I can't remember. I can't remember a backstage fight. Yeah.
What about fights with people? I mean, you said that you knew Jack threw a bottle at your wrist.
It was over. We didn't
That's just the way it was.
Oh, who else threw a couple punches at me that I pissed off? Jack Victory, the night that I was in the ring naked, jumping rope. You guys know that story?
I don't know that story, you know.
You guys don't know that I took off my pants, everything, and I was jumping rope in the ring. Look that one up. I did something. I was so drunk for that one. But yeah, he was pissed off afterwards. We were in this small bathroom. Paul was in between us, actually. Paul Heyman and somebody else were in this bathroom. And I remember Jack trying to throw a punch over Paul's head, trying to hit me. But that was all over with 5 minutes later.
I read that you were once on acid whilst in the ring. Is that true?
Fighting Godzilla?
Pittsburgh.
Yeah, could you tell us that story?
Well, I did. I met Raven. Raven was in WCW, and they happened to be in Cleveland, and the ECW was in Cleveland. So I went in early a day to hang out with him. Never did ecstasy before, so back in them days, dude, like just pill. Everybody had that's what fanny packs were. Or wrestlers' fanny packs were for pills, dude. So Raven pulls in his hand. He goes, "Now these blue ones, you can only take 3 of these. Now these, you can take maybe 1.5 of these. Whatever I thought I was going to take 1 of, I ended up taking 3 of. Dude, I was high for like 36 hours. So forget how I got the acid. I might have brought it with me. Who knows? But I ended the next night. We were in Cleveland that night. I show up late. So I'm so high on freaking, it's Friday night. I've been high for probably like 24 to 30 hours right now. I'm late getting to the building in Cleveland. When I go and I go, and Paul Heyman's sitting in, this is like 10 minutes late. The show's supposed to start. I walk in, I'm like, "Oh, Paul, sorry, I'm late." And he looks at me and he goes, "You go find New Jack right now and get some fucking cocaine into your system." That's what he said to me.
Wow. So
your memories are like insane movies.
Yeah, but Paul you could talk to like he was one of the boys. You'd be like, "Dude, me and Raven last night, oh my God, I'm still so high." And he'd be like, "Well, go get some cocaine from Jack." Like, as a matter of fact, you know what I mean? Not like it was a big thing. He's like, "Well, go get some coke, you'll feel better." So then I got the acid, and then they say I don't know who I gave it to or whatever, but Jack was pretty. We were in the ring in Pittsburgh, and I was just like, I was so high. I went out and I sat. They did it. It was a 6-man match. I went and sat in some big fat lady's freaking. I literally sat on her lap in the front row and watched the whole match. And then in the end, I grabbed the microphone, and it was a Taco Bell thing. You guys wouldn't know this, but there was this little dog going, "Here, lizard, freaking," and it was freaking people out. But yeah, acid in the ring was great. I just did some. I went to me and my sons. I take them every year to a Phillies playoff game because the Phillies are always in the playoffs. It was to see Ohtani, like probably the greatest Major League Baseball could be ever. So it was his time pitching ever in the playoffs. So I wanted to go see that. So I dropped some acid for that, and it's still as good as it ever was. I had so much fun. I wouldn't have. Usually I buy them tickets and I don't go to the game, but I wanted to see Ohtani, and I figured, well, let me get some acid for Ohtani.
Yeah, I've been to baseball games. Some acid would be better. Yeah.
Oh, it was so much fun being with all your boys. I had 3 of my sons with me then. It was great.
When your life is that wild and you're doing acid and you're fighting Godzilla and Paul Heyman's there with cocaine, what's your personal life like? How do you manage to split it up? Or is your life totally wrestling?
It used to be, dude. I used to be a dancer. They called guys called Chippendales. I don't know if you know what the Chippendale. I used to be one of them. When I was younger. So yeah, it was a lot of bars and stuff like that up until 30. But then after 30, it's all like you're more at home than you are going out somewhere, Yeah. That left quick. Well, especially after I got with Peaches, and then you guys were talking to Ty, right? We live together, and his brother lives here too. You know what I mean? So it's all like a family thing for me. It's the only thing you got in life. Like, for instance, I have 2 people from high school that I talk to regularly. I'm 60 years old, dude. I don't know, 61, 62. I don't know. I don't celebrate birthdays. I know. It's a kid birthdays, the grandkids' birthdays. They're the ones that count. But I forget where I was going with that.
The energy you have, you say you're 60, and the life you've lived is admirable. It's insane. Like, your body should be given up now, but you don't seem to want to be going anywhere. You seem ready for life.
Well, dude, that's the grandkids. Like yesterday, I spent the whole day with 2 of my grandkids. You know what I mean? So it's just you gotta get out there and golf with the boys and freaking. I don't know. So many people. I don't know how it is like where you guys grew up, but around here, it's like parents are like, "Oh, as soon as you're 18, your kid's got to go to college and go out and be on his own and all."
Yeah.
And they want to get rid of them. I want them right here with me, and that's what to me that keeps me young. Or I could be sitting. I could be sitting in my own house right now. I don't have a wife or anything. I'd be sitting in my house drinking. Oh, you know what I'm saying? If I wasn't hanging out with my boys, golfing, and taking care of the grandkids and stuff, they keep you going.
It's such a cool way to say it, yeah.
It's the best, dude. When you don't gotta wake up to an alarm. Well, I will on Wednesday mornings because I get the boys ready for one's going to school now, one will be going next year. That's the only alarm that I have to wake up to. You know what I mean? The rest of the week, unless I've got to get on a plane or something like that, which I'll do maybe probably 25 weekends a year, 20 to 25 weekends a year. I'll be traveling somewhere, but I don't really want to do any more than that. I just like being home.
Yeah, you've earned your semi-retirement.
Yeah,
absolutely. You mentioned earlier about pills kind of being prevalent in backstage at wrestling and stuff like that. Obviously, I know the stereotype, I guess, is that how big steroids were. But you're someone who you never relied on, I guess, the fucking
all right,
bodybuilder.
Here we go. I know where you're going here.
Not trying to slag you off. Did you ever dabble with steroids at any point, and how prevalent was that at the time?
Look at my body. I never did them. Because in ECW, I was one of the bigger guys. You know what I'm saying? Because I had my height. I was 6'3". Just that natural height helps you alone. But once I left ECW and I was on my way to WCW, dude, the land of the giant, dude, there was so many huge guys in that company in 2000. And I'm like, I got to get a little bit bigger. So for about six months, I did all the steroids, and Raven got me a trainer. One of his buddies was training me. So I was jacked. The best I had looked was when I came back to ECW on like October. It was like October 20th, 99. That was probably the best I ever looked in my life. But I did the steroids and I did the growth hormone. But once I wasn't in WCW anymore, there wasn't any reason to do it.
Yeah.
I just didn't see it. I had my size. I was probably like 293 jacked when I came back to ECW, and that was probably the best I ever looked in my life.
Did you ever, when you're taking substances like that, do you ever worry about the long-term effects? Because obviously the amount of people that you must know in your business that...
It's just, I did something for 6 months. You got to understand, there's a lot of those boys that are doing it for 20 years. You know what I'm saying? Like WWE guy, WWF guys look at the ECW locker room. Go back and look at how jacked some of our even guys in our company, because a lot of guys weren't tall, but a lot of the guys were ripped and jacked, and it's very obvious that who was on the steroids back then in our company.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but they didn't have to. They didn't end up like they did them, and then they didn't have to do them. And you did them because you wanted to look good for what your job was. But once you're not a wrestler anymore, like a lot of those guys, they wrestle on some indies and stuff like that. But they have other jobs. They're not, they don't feed their family on pro wrestling. You know what I mean? So for who, for what? If you're on TV, yeah, you're going to do the drugs and you want to look better. But if you're not on TV, for who, for what? But some of the guys still stayed on them their whole lives.
When you saw friends of yours, obviously I know steroids was big in the industry, especially back then, and painkillers were big. Obviously, you said about pills and stuff like that. When you see friends of yours pass away because of it, or you see colleagues kind of pass away early, is that something that weighs on your mind when you're in the industry at the time?
Well, yeah, sure, dude. You got to understand how many guys were dying freaking. And I don't know, maybe like in a 10-year period, 20 dudes died, but they weren't dying from the steroids. They were dying from alcohol and taking somas, taking muscle relaxers. That's what the guys were dying from. The steroids will kill you in the long run, you know what I mean? But those guys are dying because they took too many freaking sleeping pills and alcohol. And you end up sleeping and drowned it in your own throw up. A lot of guys died like that.
Wow.
Louis Spicoli was the first one, and then it seemed like every couple months another one, somebody else was dying.
If you don't mind me asking, did you have any people you were really close with that kind of passed away like that?
No, not back then. No, not back then. Like years later, yeah. Like, maybe 10 years later, like maybe in 2015 or something like that. Because I'm sure somebody else had passed away, but not off the top of my head.
Yeah. Obviously, I was thinking about this before, as a wrestler, if you include the shots that you gave to yourself to the head with beer cans, I don't think there's any wrestler that maybe took as many headshots as you.
No.
How prevalent were concussions, I guess, when you were wrestling? I know I think there was a match you had with Cactus Jack where
I was out.
Yeah, you didn't know the ending to it, and yeah.
Oh, I woke up in the hospital. I don't even remember this part. My wife said I woke up she was there. This was like the next morning, like 10 or 9 o'clock in the morning. The doctor asked me like, who was the president, what year it was, what city in. I didn't know the answer to any of them. He goes, go back to sleep. Then I woke up and then by like 2 or 3 in the afternoon, I had my wits about me and he let me go home. But that's not the only time that's happened. You know what I mean? Just one match with Balls Mahoney is like a lifetime of chair shots.
Yeah, I think I've heard you say once in an interview that a chair shot from Balls Mahoney was one of the worst things you've ever taken.
Yeah, dude, you'll see that flash of light. I don't know if you guys ever been hit. You ever play sports? You have a hard contact. You see that little flash of light. Yeah, that's a Balls Mahoney chair shot.
Was there any limits at all? Did you ever think maybe?
Yeah, if there was any moves that you went, I'm not going to take that tonight, or
no, I wasn't. You know that move that Mike Awesome and Masato Tanaka do, where Awesome sticks him up over his head, throws him over the top rope through a table? I'm not doing that spot. I'm just not.
So you just flat refuse to do a spot of...
Yeah, I'll do something else. Put me on a ladder. Let me take my own bump. The spot's fine, but I'm not in control of my body when that spot's happening. I'm being tossed. You know what I'm saying? I don't mind it if I have something to do with the tossing, because then I know where I'm going to land and all that shit. When I'm looking up at the ceiling and that guy's throwing me over the top rope, I have no control where my body's going.
Are there any bumps that you wish you hadn't taken, looking back?
Nah. No. Well, maybe the one I broke my neck in the Cactus Jack. I broke my neck in that match.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I broke my C4 in half, but I didn't realize it until 3 years later when I got hurt in the Junkyard match for WCW. But I broke my neck in that match. Cactus, it was my spot. So if this is the top rope, right? And there's a table against the top rope like that, and I have him put me on this table, and I'm going like this. I want him to pick up the bottom of the table and lift it, and then I'm going to fall to the outside. I'm going to flip. My feet are going to go. So I'm almost going to land on my feet. But I let go of the chair. I let go of the table too early. So when he pushed the table up, I slid right onto my head, onto the concrete.
So Harry's dream is to be put through a table.
Or like childhood. Yeah, like
he really wants to be put through a table.
So then go out in the backyard and do it.
Give him any advice?
You see all that stuff? Oh my God, it comes across my timeline sometimes of guys really screwing up in like backyard wrestling.
Yeah, proper
guys
backyard
getting
wrestling.
hurt. Yeah, happens all the time. So go do
Yeah.
We will do it.
I love the way Carl asked that question.
Should do it.
Well, so we're it's funny enough. I mean, this will go out after the special airs, but we're doing some wrestling training in about 2 weeks' time.
Yeah.
Because it's
You're doing some what?
So we're going to a wrestling school in Manchester, which I know you're coming to Manchester in February. We're going to a wrestling school there.
I'll put you through a table in the parking lot.
Oh
my God, please.
When you're here in February, I swear to God, we'll come to Manchester. You can put me through a table, Sandman. And we'll drink a beer afterwards. We'll take you out for some pints.
Lovely.
I think you've just answered the question there, but does the Sandman still live? Is it still within you? Are you still just the same guy, just no longer on television, no longer doing the...
Yeah, well, because there wasn't much. I was me, dude. I didn't have to like put on.
Yeah.
Dude, when I got out of my car, I could wear the same clothes that I was going to the ring in. You know what I mean? So there's not like a real far difference. You know what I'm saying? Some guys have like characters and stuff like that. My character was me. You know what I mean? So I didn't have to. There wasn't really a difference. And in my life, yeah, you're not on TV and stuff like that, but you're over that. I've been over that for years. You know what I mean? I was very happy in 2008 when I got released by WWE. Guys, I didn't do a thing. I did a couple indies and then I went to almost a decade. I raised my youngest son. He's 17 now. I raised him for 10 years. I didn't do anything. You know what I mean? So I just it was easy for me to step away because WWE was just like, I don't know, that company was so hard to work for, and just be in the locker room because dude, there's a lot of like high money jobs like that are out there, you know what I mean? And everybody's a shark, and you know, everybody's trying to get time with the writers, pulling writers behind stuff like that. I'm like, write something for me. If I got to give you, why should I have to go tell you what to do with me?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But then I found out that, so I'm like, I asked one of the writers, so how did you get this job? He's like, oh, I wrote for a sitcom. He wrote for situation comedy and they hired him for wrestling. The guy didn't know he was a casual fan of wrestling. And this is the person that they're hiring to help write shows. You know what I'm saying? Just stupid shit like that. I mean, it's the greatest wrestling company in the world to work for. But when you're when you're one of the cogs in the machine, it's not the greatest thing. It's great when you go get your paycheck every 2 weeks. But you know what I mean? But it's a grind, especially when, like, if you got a weekend where you have a pay-per-view and a Monday night, you're at the building for a weekend. If you're probably at the building for maybe 35 hours. I mean, something ridiculous.
Wow. Yeah.
You're there all day, both days, like 11 o'clock. Like calls would be 12 a.m., 11 a.m., and you might not go on until 10 p.m. at night. You know what I mean? You've been in the building 11 hours before you even go on. You know what I mean? That's just grueling. And when you have to listen to all those people talking to you, like me and Sabu, man, Dan, I would find a stairwell to go dress under. I would never dress in the locker room because just there's too many asshole personalities around.
Was there a lot of ribbing at that time? I mean, I've heard so many stories of
none.
Really?
Yeah, there was no ribs back then. Even in ECW, there was no ribs.
I've heard some stories of, like, say if a greener, kind of newer rookie wrestler is in the change rooms, they almost kind of get a bit of a baptism of fire. I know it's
not now, dude. It's not like that anymore. The old school way is out.
Yeah,
it's just not the way anymore. I mean, a lot of guys, their first time in the locker room, 3/4 of the guy in that locker room are as green as he is.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yeah.
The first time, you know, at an indie show, you're not just going to walk into a WWE locker room, and it's just not like that anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Before this, we watched a couple of your, like, famous entrances where you come to the crowd and you're drinking beer. How does that feel as a young man to get that insane adoration?
Yeah, I'm jacked right there. That's just freaking, that's fun. And I'm having as much fun as they are. Yeah, it's just the adrenaline rush is unbelievable. It's great. It's a great 5-minute adrenaline rush.
It looks
And it'll straighten you
incredible.
right up too. No matter how drunk you are, that 5-minute entrance with that crowd going crazy will straighten you right up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It
because
does. That adrenaline will straighten you
Yeah,
up.
it brings you back. Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Just like anything in life, fucking, it'll jolt you out of that drunk.
Yeah.
So obviously you would drink a beer to the ring. What was the most beers you drank on the way to a ring?
9. I used to have the parachute pants where they had the pockets on the side, so that was like 4 right there. 1 in the 2 top front pockets, one each in the back. So that's 4, 5, 6. So that's 7, 8, and the one in my hand. So that was 9, and that was on a W. That was a WWE. That was in 2008. WWE. Somebody was late to the show, and I was like, maybe it was probably somebody for the main, and it might have been RVD. Because I think, yeah, because RVD flew into somewhere. I don't know. It was like Austin, maybe it's North Texas, and he went to something Oklahoma instead of something Texas. It was like a Twin City kind of thing. And he just punched it into the nav, and he was saying he was supposed to be in the other city on the other side of the fucking Texas border in Oklahoma, but he went the wrong way or something. And typical Van Dam, you know what I mean? Yeah, so I had to kill some time before he got to the building. So I'm like, yeah, that's all right. I'll kill some time.
That's so good. How do you replace that adrenaline? Because I don't think there's many jobs in the world where you're going to get that.
Well, see, I still get my entrance now when I go on the weekends, even if I'm doing. That's what's a great thing about me is I don't have to wrestle. Most indies I go to, I'm getting paid more than anybody else is on the show. I do less than anybody on the show. I do my entrance and I'll go in and cane somebody. Nobody ever touches me. I'll just go in there and cane somebody. They'll set it up with like some heel manager or something's in there. They'll call out anybody in the locker rooms, stupid stuff like that.
Yeah.
Just to get me out to the ring and let me do my entrance.
That must feel cool though. That after so many years, that adulation still, that myth of the Sandman still there.
Well, yeah, but it's even more cool is that you can just have to go out there and do your entrance. There's a lot of guys, and he's like Dreamer's still doing matches. Bubba, I think, just stopped doing match. Well, he had that match.
Yeah, he just retired, didn't he?
Wow.
Yeah, and Devon's been done doing matches. You know what I mean? And I guess that was a nice money grab for them. But I texted Bubba something yesterday. It was funny. I don't know where are we at. What's the question?
How it must feel nice to have that adulation.
Yeah, to still get it. Absolutely. Yeah. It is, no matter how I think about it. But it's more of a job now, especially if you got to travel. If you got to get on a plane, I'm like, every time I'll take the job, and then I'm like, and then that morning when I got to get up to go to the flight, I regret it every single time.
Do you then not regret it when you do the entrance, or is it still like?
No, that's the best part of it.
Yeah.
The best part of my whole, like, if I leave Friday morning and don't get back until Sunday morning, the best part was my entrance. Or unless a lot of times I'll take a booking somewhere knowing that an old friend is on that show. So then at least I get to go see an old friend when I'm there.
That's good.
And
nice.
Probably like last year, probably 10 times at least me and Francine traveled together because she lives right by the Philly airport. So we'll meet up there. Me and her will travel the weekend together. And those are the easzy weekends.
One thing we wanted to bring up, and this is a bit of a sensitive topic. So, I mean, if you don't want to answer
Not
it,
to me.
That's a big drink.
Looks like windscreen wiper fluid. This is a bit of a sensitive question. So I mean, with all the respect in the world, like you don't
Just
have to answer
spit it out, dude. Fuck.
We if you like read your Wikipedia, obviously a big part of your kind of early run in ECW was alongside Nancy Benoit, obviously as woman.
Yeah.
And obviously with the way things played out with Chris Benoit and the tragedy around that, I was wondering if you could let us kind of give us some insight into
that hurt.
How that played out. What it was like to wrestle alongside Nancy Benoit, and then also what the tragedy was like when you found out as someone you were so close with passed away?
Well, let me tell you. At first, they called all of us. We were in Texas, down below Houston. Whatever there's a town like right on the Gulf. I forget exactly what the name of the town was, and they called everybody out by the ring. And there was a buzz going on that we knew. Pretty much everybody knew that Chris was dead, but we didn't know about Nancy and the kid. And then all the rest of the stuff happens that day. And then they do a big salute to Chris, and then the next thing you know, that he ended up killing Nancy and his kid, and whenever he did it like a paper, and for WWE pay-per-views and stuff like that, and Chris had the belt. I think that Chris might have had the belt then, or
I think he was scheduled to win. He's scheduled to win again that night that he didn't show up.
Yeah.
So it was just a straight tragedy.
Does it still hurt you thinking about it now, looking back?
Nah, no, it can't. There's so many people that you just, dude. When you die, how long does it last for? You know what I'm saying? When you die, you die. You know what I mean? No matter how you do it, I don't know how many years. That's been like maybe 17 years or something like that. You know what I mean? So now it's more like I think happy things about her whenever I think about Nancy, or if I'm watching something for a podcast that they're going to review or something like that. It's all happy stuff that you remember, not bad.
That's great.
That's what time does. Yeah, time lets you look back.
Did you have any? What was your relationship like with Chris? Obviously, I know how close you were with Nancy.
Me and Chris were cool because we weren't like when he was first in ECW, like you had to think like him and when he was working with Eddie Guerrero there and stuff like that. Those guys weren't our champions. Guys, I could have been the champion. You know what I mean? So who knows? Because a lot of those, I know those, like I call them the Canada boys. Like I'm sure they didn't appreciate like guys like us having the title when they probably like when Jericho was there and Lance Storm was there and all those guys. I'm sure they looked down on that point. You know what I mean? But what was the question again?
What was your relationship like with Chris Benoit?
Yeah. So I didn't have when he was in ECW. Freaking we were cool and everything, but I got to know him more once we were in WCW. I got to know him more.
When you look back at your career, or when you were fighting, at least, what is your fondest memory? What is the one match where you can replay it and smile? What's your favorite?
There's a couple of them. 10 Lashes with Dreamer, Funk Out of the Box. Those couple.
There's so many.
Hack, honestly, it's been an absolute pleasure to speak to you. One thing I'd love to ask, because we started this chat about, a lot about you fighting in bars and stuff like that. Looking back through everyone that you've wrestled, either alongside or against throughout your career, if you were in a bar fight, what 4 wrestlers would you want alongside you?
Oh, dude. Bam Bam is one of them. Tracy Smothers is one of them. RVD probably. And the Big Show.
Oh, hell yeah.
I'm good friends with the Big Show. I was friends with him before he was even a pro wrestler. He used to bounce. He was a bouncer. The Pitbulls got him a job. The Pitbulls used to run Philadelphia back in the day, dude. They knew every club to go to. They knew all the bouncers. They were bouncing at the biggest strip club. Delilah's Den. Then there was 100 girls that would be working there on a Friday or Saturday night. And then that's where I met the Show. He actually asked me to train him, and I was like on the road in WCW then, and I'm like, no. I was like, dude, I don't even have a ring. I can't train you. And next thing you know, a year later, he's in WCW.
Yeah, and went on to do some pretty big things.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did. I worked with him. I got to work with him in WWE when Rob Van Dam and Sabu got caught by the cops smoking pot, and then they took the belt off of Van Dam like the next day or something like that. And I think I might have been the Show's first title defense. And I remember going into his bus because he had a bus. Now I think other guys have them. You know what I'm saying? But because well, I mean, the guy couldn't fit on a plane. You know what I'm saying? So he would get driven on a bus a lot, and freaking So I go onto his bus. He's like, Hack. He goes, I could barely even move. My back's killing me. I said, and so we sat there. We smoked a joint. I think RVD and Sabu were with us too. We were sitting in his bus and sitting in a little kitchen. And he's like, dude, we'll just go calling out there. So we literally went out there with the finish. Just what because we knew what his finish was or whatever. He did the one thing and then spin the leg drop or whatever the hell it was. But we went out there with nothing because he was hurt. So we get out in the ring and we lock up. And I'm like, come on, Garrett, come here. And I'm just talking to him. I'm like, come here, kid. As I'm pulling him to the corner, I'm like, all right, chop me. And dude, a lot of guys don't want to be chopped by the Big Show. Well, what the hell else am I going to do in this match? The dude's back is done. So I'm like, chop me. So I fall on the ground, I crawl. So all he has to do is walk. I crawl to another corner. I get up, said, all right, chop me. He goes, you sure? I'm like, yeah, what else are we going to do? He's like, yeah, you're right. Chops me again. We did like 5, 6, 7 chops. Somehow I got him outside of the ring. He got color for me. I didn't even know he was going to juice. He's like, yeah, hit me in the head with the cane. I'm like, okay. Because I didn't even want to hit him because his back was hurting. But he's out there saying, yeah, hit me. He got some color for me. And, it was lovely.
I mean, like for context as well, the Big Show, Kofi Kingston, who's obviously in the WWE at the moment, the Big Show once chopped Kofi Kingston and caved chop being like that to the chest, caved his chest in, and his chest is now completely flat.
Wow.
Yeah, I'll show you a photo.
Yeah, the show.
Yeah.
Who else? Scott Norton. Oh my God, his hand was like a sledgehammer, dude. Scott Norton would chop the shit out of you too, dude. Wow. And Kali. Oh my God, Kali almost knocked me out, giving me
the Kali chop.
He would do that karate chop on top of your head. Dude, he did it 2 nights in a row. It was me and Dreamer. We had to work with Kali and Davari. All right, so here we go. We're going over the match, right? It's me, Dreamer, and Kali and Davari. We're sitting there. We're talking about the match for 5-10 minutes. Finally, Kali looks at me, goes, "Oh, you Sandman." I'm like, "Yeah, dude, who the fuck you think we've been talking about for 10 minutes?" 10 minutes we're going over what we're going to, because he didn't really get a grasp of the language that good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So what are you going to do? What are you going to call there out there with him? You know what I mean? I'm like, "Here, do this overhead." He hit me over, almost knocked me out. Same thing the next night. He hit me so damn hard, almost knocked me out. I refused to go near him after that. I told Dreamer, I'm not going near him. You have to deal with him the rest of the match.
He killed a man, didn't he, with his bomb or something?
Yeah, I heard that story, but I also heard the story that whoever the trainer was had him keep doing it over and over and over again. It wasn't just one time.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think a trainer was involved in that too. You don't keep having the same guy take that bump if the guy screws up the bump. And it was that double choke hand thing. He would pick you up for that double choke hand thing and throw you out. But the thing for that's a hard move for. You can't control when you got that big guy with the 2 hands around your neck. He needs to really push your head so you land flat. You know what I mean? If he like picks you up and drops you like that, it's totally different. He needs to push your body away from you to help you land flat. But I'm sure that's not what happened. So
yeah.
But I don't know. That's a crazy situation, dude. I mean, do it on a crash mat or something.
Yeah.
So you know what a crash mat is?
Yeah.
They have these like 12-inch mats that guys try moves with and shit like that. So just try it with that. I don't know.
Hack, honestly, it's been an absolute honor to speak to you.
Yeah, man.
Fascinating. Thank you so much.
I'd love to ask this last question just to round us up. Obviously, we talked about your time in prison and then the amazing career that you had. As 61, 62-year-old, James Fullington now, looking back at the lad who had his 21st birthday in prison smoking his first cigarette, what would you say to him?
Well, what would I say to that, dude? Learn to fuck up. Smart up earlier than you did.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Honestly, it's been an absolute pleasure, and I can't wait to see you in a car park in Manchester in February where you can
make it happen.
I was just going to say that, dude. We're going to set that up.
Make it happen. Make it happen.
Yeah.
Sam, honestly, I've got my,
He's a luchador.
Oh,
Yeah.
God. Oh, dude, are you sure it's even going to be you under the mask then? He's going to have a stand-in for him. I can tell already.
You can't match my physique, Hack.
Well, yeah, you can't. Well, unless you're an 11-year-old kid.
We'll set it up. We'll set it up.
Absolutely.
Right.
Honestly, Sandman, it's been an absolute pleasure. Have a great rest of your day.
Thank you so much. Take care.
Peace. I'll see you in Europe.
Peace.
Oh.
That felt like your birthday present.
Oh, that was so cool. That was the coolest thing.
That felt like your birthday.
Watching
you watch that made me happy.
Yeah, there's points where
there was points where I was like, because he's naming names, and you know, I was a wrestling fan as a kid, like most people were, and he's naming names. I'm like, fuck, he says Van Damme, it's Rob Van Damme. Like,
yeah,
fucking cool. And he's naming, like, he's made to the Big Show, and he's like Paul Heyman backstage, and I'm like, to me that's cool. To you, that I know that was just.
There's points like you'll see it on the camera where I'm just watching it.
Yeah,
like
at
that.
one point you just did. That
was the coolest thing. I mean, I've made a list of some names to give a bit of context. So Bruno Sammartino, Sammartino, up until last year was the longest reigning ever WWE champion.
Sick.
Like he
just met him in a car park.
Ultimate legend of wrestling back in the day. Paulie, they mentioned is Paul Heyman, who's a prominent.
You know, if you know anything about wrestling, you know Paul Heyman. Yeah.
New Jack was an insane person,
a lunatic.
The incident that we talked about there about New Jack throwing a man off scaffolding. It's important to preface that to do that, New Jack tasered the man, and it was because he botched him. The wrestler that he tasered and threw off the scaffolding botched a move on New Jack.
Yeah, so it was like a revenge thing.
You know, there was a couple kind of wrestling terms in there as well. Botch being like messing up a move.
Yeah.
Getting colour means bleeding.
Yeah.
Who else? And Carly was great. Carly, who was like 7'5".
He's also in he's in The Longest Yard, the great Carly.
Yeah, he's in.
Plays table tennis. The big guy who plays table tennis. That's the great Carly.
That's the great Carly. So you've seen how big his hands are when he's playing table tennis.
Big old boy.
That was really cool.
Yeah, no.
There were points where it's the reason that I wanted a wrestler on. Obviously, it wasn't just to kind of fulfill my I don't know, childhood fantasy of speaking to someone like the Sandman, because there's such a weird mix of like there's people who aren't into wrestling who just go, oh, it's just a wrestling, and then there's like when we spoke to Sean Walsh was like, no fucking way, you've got the Sandman.
Yeah. To people who know wrestling, this guy is a god, isn't he?
But this is why the Sandman was the perfect person to have on for what we want to do for Mad That with a wrestling kind of angle. Is he is the ultimate hardcore.
Yeah, he's not just like, oh, you were a wrestler, isn't that mad? Like Maven. Like, oh, that's magic. This guy
respect to Maven, by the way.
No disrespect, but I'm saying like Maven's a YouTuber now, and he pulls behind the curtain like, oh, that's mad. This was a guy who was in doing what Maven's doing, who was a fucking lunatic as well.
Yeah, he was getting into bar fights, and he was like, this is what, you know. And all Sam, like he said, he was trained and he knew what he was doing. But then his matches were just, he'd get his Singapore cane and just smash it over people's heads.
Basically, he would leave the bar, get in his car, and then go and wrestle in front of thousands of people and be him.
Yeah, and then he'd leave and he was still
and then go back to the bar.
Yeah, that was unbelievably fascinating. I think as a man as well, it's really cool how he's still got that kind of hardcore edge, but he's speaking to us in his golf polo and he's talking like his grandkids,
so
and he's
much
like
energy though.
Yeah, and it's something that
I thought, because obviously you know a lot more about him. I'm like, this is an aged wrestler. He's in his 60s. He's a hardcore wrestler, so it's accelerated insane because he's probably lived a lifetime of 4 wrestlers, the bumps he's taken and shit. I was thinking maybe this guy's going to be a bit on the the more relaxed side, the slower side. There's a bit. He could go and wrestle now.
Yeah, well, and he
no, but I mean like he used to.
Yeah,
like he can tell he's like, yeah, I'm still like the energy he's got for a 60-year-old man who's lived his life is insane.
Yeah, and I love that he's got these hardcore stories and he's proud of all of them.
Yeah,
and he's like, yeah, I'll fucking go take acid at a baseball game.
And he's gonna put you through a table in Manchester.
That's happening, by the way. I hope this episode will either come out before that happens, or if not, then the footage of that will be after this episode.
Yeah,
or just before But yeah, just such a pleasure to speak to him, and for him to be so kind of light-hearted as well.
And he was so giving as well. Like when we brought up obviously, if you don't know the Chris Benoit situation, Chris Benoit was one of the biggest superstars ever, who ended up taking the life of his wife and his son, and then his own life due to the things that he'd gone through as a wrestler, the things it did to his brain. He was friends with the wife, Nancy, and I think he knew that was the angle we were about to take. And he was like, "Fucking go for it, take me out." And you could tell he maybe didn't give us everything because
it's sensitive.
It's sensitive, and it's something that's clearly broken his heart at some point in his life. But he was still okay to be like, "Go for it, shoot, let's chat."
Yeah, and I think that's and like to kind of pull back the curtain. We always knew that was something we wanted to bring up because it's something that like we wanted to bring up for a wrestling angle, and it obviously was a big at the time when it happened. I know how Sam has talked in the past about how upset he was,
but it wasn't even the wrestling angle. We didn't go as a wrestler. Like Kane, what was it like that night? Oh, it was crazy. This was like as Hack, as Jim, as Nancy's friend. What was it like being that well when that happened? And
yeah, we wanted to take the sincere, real route because we didn't want to come across as these kind of hawkish,
just looking for the
clickbaity thing. But and he was. I feel like we built up a rapport with him.
Cool guy. Wants to put you through a table. Clearly, he's just gone about to stay now, just being the same person he's been for the last 40 years.
Yeah, and that was really, really cool. And again, I feel like I've said it quite a few times this season. The fact that we get to do this and speak to these people gives me life, honestly.
Yeah,
it's the coolest thing.
It's the best show in the world. And we thank you for watching. If you did like it, let's do the comment and the like thing. Let's try and get us speaking to more people like this because we do this because we love it and we know you love it. So that was Mad Dad Season 2, The Sandman.
If there's any wrestlers that you think we can take a different angle with and go down a different route for future seasons, tag them. All that jazz. Do a little high five.
Yeah, man.
Go through the table.